Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Cannabis Review. I'm delighted to be joined in this episode by Ruben Lindo, who's the founder and CEO of a number of operations in the cannabis industry in America and has been around in the industry for the past 20 years. Ruben, how are you keeping today?
I'm good, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Delighted to have you on, Ruben. Delighted to have you on. So, can you maybe give everybody a quick little overview in under a minute of the companies that you're currently a part of and how you found yourself in the cannabis industry?
Absolutely. I am the founder, as you said, and CEO of Blak Farms, which is our cannabis cultivation and cannabis cultivation management facility management company. I'm also the CEO and founder of Phoenix Nutraceutical, which is our CBD company. That was our first baby and our first foray into the space. And Blak Farms has a subsidiary or a sister company called Urban Couture, which is a lifestyle branding, product branding, and event hosting operation.
Okay, brilliant, amazing. So I was doing my research, and you seem to come across as a man who's got a wealth of experience and knowledge to do with the industry. So I'm going to jump straight into the first topic, and I think it's something that it seems pretty obvious from the outside looking in, but doesn't seem to be something that's been enacted, and that's collaboration and not competition between the MSOs and the legacy market. Do you agree with the statement that the MSOs in the legacy market should be collaborating because it seems to be a perfect marriage, or is all the competition that's happening at the moment what should be happening?
No, absolutely. I think that to take it a step further, I think that the onus is on the MSOs to collaborate not only with the legacy market, but also the small business and the smaller operators. Because, I think if you really think about this from a collaborative standpoint, 8 years ago, none of us would be collaborating or even competing. We would be co-conspirators, right? Because it's still federally illegal, and it's illegal, would have been illegal in most of the states in which we operate. So I think in the spirit of collaboration, there's some innovation there, and there's some ability for these larger companies who are very well capitalized to work with smaller companies like myself, or even folks coming out of the legacy market who have established brands, because there are things that we can do that the big MSOs just can't. We can grow craft cannabis to our scale financially, where they can't. When they have these huge facilities, it's hard to grow the type of cannabis that would be considered craft cannabis. Not saying that they can't, it just doesn't fit their business model. And then the other thing is the wealth of products that are currently exist either in the legacy market or in the craft small to medium sized market. We're able to put products out at a rate that is much faster than some of these larger companies, because again, they have to check a lot of the boxes, and their bottom line drives them, just like our bottom line. But if your bottom line is significantly smaller or shorter to the target, then it's easier for us to get out. And I think that speed to commerce through collaboration is really key.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. I think it's going to be a case now where the MSOs are the ones that have to come to the industry, and it baffles me that some of these MSOs haven't created funds and gone out and done mergers and acquisitions with the top tiered talent that may not have, let's say, the business acumen to bring their business to be a large scale national company, but have all the industry know-how and expertise to be able to work to budgets and ensure everybody's working as a cohesive unit.
I mentioned that last week at MJ BizCon on stage with Acreage Holdings and Wana Brands and the parent company. I said to them, there are definite advantages in collaborating and bringing top talent in. I think part of the issue, though, is there's a trust factor, right? And there still remains a huge divide between the large companies, the big MSOs, and companies like myself or the operators coming out of the legacy space, where they're still just not sure where they can trust, who they can trust. And it goes both ways, right? But I think that in the next couple years, we're going to see that type of collaboration in the spirit of less of competition, because really, if you think about it, if we're all operating on the adult use legal side here in the United States, and in most states, we're competing for 17 to 20% of the market, right? We have to figure out how to dominate that segment so that we can strengthen this and make it more attractive for legacy operators to come over. I was a legacy operator, right? And I transitioned over into the adult use legal side of this business at the corporate level, because two things: it made sense, and I saw the bigger play, right? And being able to even speak to you in Ireland and folks in the UK and all over the world, my vision for cannabis has always been global from day one when I came into this industry. So I think that as we start seeing the global reach of cannabis, we're going to see the need for more collaboration and less collapsing of the industry with acquisitions and mergers, and more keeping independently subsidiaries or wholly owned subsidiaries working in conjunction with the big capitalized companies to put out some great, tremendous products and reach a lot of people. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting the plant in the patient's hands and folks' hands. No matter how we look at this, this is still plant medicine.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to jump on to the next topic, and it's something that I've been getting lots of mixed information about. It's the New York autumn crop of cannabis that was grown and apparently is sitting around with a very high valuation. Tell me exactly what happened with the New York autumn crop this year, and if what of the news we're hearing is true or false.
Well, I don't know exactly what you're hearing, but I can only speculate to what you're hearing. And I believe that there's a mix of truth to what we've all heard, that there was a tremendous amount of cannabis harvested. I think something north of 700,000 pounds of cannabis harvested. I believe that probably about 20 to 25% of that may be viable to go into a smokable market. The rest of it is biomass. I haven't personally tested, but I've spoken to some of the farms, and some of them have turned out pretty decent product. But, you know, there's an alarming issue when the regulators drop the testing parameters in the first harvest. Always you'll see them play with the numbers, but when they dropped it significantly so that the mold count could pass into the market, I think that was really a telling sign that it's going to be a lot more difficult than people think it is to grow outdoor cannabis in New York, right? Think about this. We had probably the wettest August, September, probably in the last 30 years. And then we had very high humidity, exorbitantly high humidity, and hot temperatures all the way until November, right? So that doesn't make for a very good environment to grow outdoor cannabis as your primary cash crop, right? So I think that we saw, and I believe this, what we're going to see is a shift to more indoor and greenhouse cannabis with one real harvest of outdoor cannabis. And a lot of that product may go to biomass and go into your oils and your edibles, which is great, right? It's still sun-kissed cannabis is sun-kissed cannabis, but I don't think sun-kissed cannabis in New York is a sustainable way to launch an industry.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think Ireland is almost the exact same. If you're lucky, you'll get a couple of good weeks during the summer. I don't think it's you can plan around having real cultivation unless you've got the climate that has proven for it. So it would negate that indoor cannabis is going to be the premium cannabis that you're going to be able to buy on the shelves over the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And having spent time in Ireland, I pretty much I think of like Northeast New York, Northeast United States, very similar to the climate in Ireland. Minus we get the snow. I think you guys get the rain and ice, right? But at the same time, I think that there are some serious lessons learned. And look, the state did a great thing by launching this program and getting product out there and getting some folks who have some real bona fides or skill set to grow cannabis. But again, it takes a very special strain, breed, and cultivator to understand and navigate this industry. This isn't Jack and the Beanstalk where you're going to throw some seeds in the ground and then you're going to be magically wealthy, right? It's a very fickle plant, and it's tough to grow. And I think that some of the farmers in New York learned that lesson this year.
Yeah, no, very much so. It's going to be interesting. Do you think that they'll have the retail stores open by the end of this year?
I think we're on track. I think we'll have a few just so they can check the box. I know that they have awarded the card licenses. They gave out 36 licenses for the justice impacted individuals. And we just coming fresh off the press, we had a meeting last night with Damian Fagan and the OCM. And yeah, I think that they're going to have, by the end of the year, we'll have 2, maybe 3 stores open in various regions, and they'll be the pilot flagship first to market stores.
And do you think the caliber of cannabis being grown in New York is going to be able to meet that top tier echelon, or is it just no?
No, and not to cut you off, no, I think that we're going to struggle a little bit, Owen, to be honest with you, with getting the top tier, and that's what happens, right? I always tell people it's not about speed to market; it's about the quality of the product. And we started this whole conversation by talking about the spirit of collaboration with Legacy, and I think when we've left Legacy behind on this first round, it's going to be tough to compete with the product that currently exists in 80% of the market space that currently is dominated in the legacy market, right? It's something like, 400,000 metric tons of cannabis, or some ridiculous 4 metric tons of cannabis is consumed in the New York metropolitan area. None of it is sold in stores. So that just tells you it's a ridiculous number.
Do you think there's going to be like interstate partnerships that happen? Because a lot of the East Coast we were looking at through the ballots recently and votes that happened, you've got a couple of close neighboring states that have all gone legalized now. Do you see them doing interstate deals where, look, we're allowed to ship across A and B and C and D without breaking the federal rules?
So we have the framework for it, and I'm a big proponent of intrastate commerce amongst contiguous states. I think that that's the only way that we can compete and really open up the marketplace in a way that gives unique distinction, like you buy Vermont maple syrup and you buy New York apples, right? I think that that's the same concept. And what we learned coming through the pandemic is that the states can do interstate commerce on emergency supplies, medical supplies, and even labor, right? Labor could work across state lines. We have the framework for it in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania Pact for the Port Authority, where we share in revenue and taxation for highways, bridges, and tunnels. And I think that it's the same model. We also have the same model when it comes to tomatoes, apples, oranges, and produce, right? So if cannabis is truly an agricultural commodity, then let's just designate it as such and allow for contiguous states to trade cannabis. And think about the revenue pool when you expand the marketplace by 5 million users just in the tri-state area. We can expand that, and then they can do a revenue share on the taxation. It won't be long before the governments get that message. But the other thing is it will increase safety, consumer protection, right? Product safety. We can have standardized tests. So what works in New York will have to be the standard for New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, and look, we're going further south now, right? So now we have legalization in Maryland, and Virginia's coming on board. DC is a hot button with it being a federal territory. But as we see this thing expand on the eastern seaboard, we're going to have a need for some of that, right? And we're going to have a need for standardized testing and secure banking. That model opens up so many doors to answer and check off so many boxes that create areas of opportunity or problem for our industry.
No, very well said. It's been amazing chatting to you, Ruben. I could actually talk to you in another couple of episodes, but hopefully we get to touch base in 2023 and see how Blackmar Farms are getting on and the progress you guys are made. But thank you very much for taking your time today. For anybody who wants to follow Ruben on Twitter, I highly recommend it. It's RunFast19. The link will be in all the different descriptions where it's posted. So thank you again, Ruben, for your time.
Thank you, Owen. I appreciate it. Be safe out there.
Until next episode, everybody.